Now with the intro out of the way, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be going breaking down the top 100 players, as you already know. Coming in at 100, we have Joe Harris. At number 99, we have Marcus Morris Sr. At 98, we have Otto Porter Jr. of the Bulls. 97, Derek White. 96, Marc Gasol. And then we come to 95, LaMarcus Aldridge, the first player I want to stop and talk about for a little bit. So LaMarcus Aldridge, I think, is very, very disrespected on this season, on this list. I personally think LaMarcus Aldridge is a very, very, very good player. I think any team would want him on their team. I think he would be a great addition to almost any team. If you look at LaMarcus Aldridge's stats, let's look at his stats real quick. Come on. LaMarcus Aldridge, here we go. So LaMarcus Aldridge last season, he averaged 18.9 points per game, and he got 7.4 rebounds, and he averaged 39% from three. He averaged 39% for three. So he had the best season of his career in terms of shooting from the three, except for this one season where he shot 41% from the three. But he had 3 attempts per game, and that season he only had about a little less than 1 attempt per game. So he had shot the most threes ever shot from his career and had one of the best seasons of his career shooting from three-point range and 19 points per game. But you're telling me that he is 95th in the league. I just don't agree with that. And I think he deserves to be way, way higher than this list. I think in the 50s or 40s at least, to be not so disrespectful to LaMarcus Aldridge. Next, we have Jared Allen at 94. And then we come to Ricky Rubio at 93. So Ricky Rubio is another person I want to stop at. I think at 93, Ricky Rubio is ranked way, way, way too low. And I think he's very, very much an underrated player in this league. Last season, he only averaged 14 points per game. Let's look at his stats real quick. Let's go look at Ricky Rubio's stats real quick. Ricky Rubio, where are you at? There you at. Ricky Rubio. Okay. So last season, he averaged 13 points per game, almost 9 assists per game, and he shot 36% from three. And most of his career, Ricky Rubio has been knocked for not being able to shoot the three as well as he should have. But last season, he had his best shooting percentage he's ever had from three, shooting 3.3 attempts per game. And he got 9 assists almost, 8.8 assists, and 13 points per game. And he really helped the Suns almost make the playoffs. I mean, they were the team that no one thought was going to make the playoffs in the bubble, but then they went 8-0, and they were about to make the playoffs. So I think he's ranked way too low at 93. I think, you know, he had one of his best career years in the league, and he went from 84th last year to 93rd this year, and I just think that's very disrespectful. I mean, when D'Angelo Russell said he's never played with a point guard like Ricky Rubio, and he's played with the likes of Stephen Curry last year, I think that's saying something about Ricky Rubio, and I think he is very, very underrated. Next, we got Mitchell Robinson, who also I think is very, very low on this list. I think he's been a great pickup for the Knicks, and he's been a great rim protector. Next, we got Seth Curry at 91, and we got Patrick Beverley at 90. Better than Ricky Rubio? I don't think so. I think Patrick Beverley is nice and all, but I just don't think he adds a lot to the team. I think I'd rather have him lower on the list, even off the 100 list. I'm not very high on Patrick Beverley personally. Then we got Joe Ingles at 89, Jeremy Grant at 88, and then we come to Buddy Hield at 87. Buddy Hield shoots about 40% from three-point range, averaged about almost 20 points per game. I think he averaged 19 points per game last season. And he's a knockdown shooter. Very, very, very prolific shooter. I think Buddy Hield is ranked way too low. Let's look at Buddy Hield's stats real quick. Buddy Hield, here we go. Buddy Hield, here we go. So he averaged 19.2 points per game last season. He shot 39.4% from three-point range. And he also was able to pull in 4.6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game and a steal per game. So you're telling me someone that's averaging 20 points in the league is just marginally better than Patrick Beverley? I mean, 3 spots better than Patrick Beverley. And we'll get some more people on the list as we go down, and I think Buddy Hield should be higher than. But I just think that's disrespectful than Buddy Hield. Like, Brook Lopez is 86, Danilo Gallinari 85, John Collins, who I think is very, very, very good. I mean, his previous rank was 47, and now he's down 84. I just think that's way too low. Then we got DeJounte Murray at 83. And then we come to DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, comment down below what you guys think of when you think of DeMar DeRozan. Because I think of a franchise player. I think someone who's your corner piece of the team. I mean, that's what he was in Toronto, and that's what he's been for the Spurs the last few years. I mean, last season he averaged 22.1 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. And you're telling me that he is an 82nd best player in the league, being able to get a bucket basically whenever he wants. Let that sink in for a second. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is below the likes of John Wall, who hasn't played basketball in 2 years, Josh Richardson, who wasn't very, very effective in Philly. He's behind Dennis Schroeder. Yes, Dennis Schroeder's coming off a good season. He was second runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year, but he's coming off the bench, and he's ranked 79th, above DeMar DeRozan. Aaron Gordon's at 78, and then we come to KCP at 77. This is just laughable that KCP is above people like DeMar DeRozan, John Collins, Danilo Gallinari, Buddy Hield. There's Ricky Rubio. I don't know. There's so many players that KCP is higher than that I personally think KCP shouldn't be higher than. I mean, the man averaged 9 points per game last season. Yes, he did make some clutch shots for the Lakers this last season, but KCP isn't a 20-point-a-night scorer. He is a role player who will knock down some shots for you and play decent defense. I mean, there was 2 years ago, KCP, he was getting laughed at the Lakers for not hitting as many threes as he should. I mean, last year he wasn't even ranked in the top 100. I don't know. I just don't think that's a very good ranking for KCP. Next, we got Montrezl Harrell, Sixth Man of the Year. Duncan Robinson, a.k.a. Jimmy Neutron. I think he looks more like Sheen, but the Lakers called him Jimmy Neutron. That's my opinion. Next, we got Miles Turner, Bojan Bogdanovic, PJ Tucker at 72. Then we got Mike Conley at 71. Last season, the previous year, at the beginning of the season, he was ranked 24th. And I think this is disrespectful personally. I mean, if we saw what he did in the bubble, he was averaging 20-ish points per game, if I'm not wrong. Don't quote me on that, but if he was playing very, very well in the bubble, the Jazz were a shot away from beating the Nuggets. I mean, if you remember that last shot in the NBA final, in the first round of the playoffs, his shot went in and out, and you saw Donovan Mitchell laying on the floor just in shock that it didn't go in. I don't know. I just think that Mike Conley is way better than a 71 ranked player, and he's sure getting paid more than a 71 player. That's for sure. Next, we got Steven Adams at 70, and then we come to D'Lo at 69. I don't know. I think this is disrespectful. If we think about it, 2 years ago, D'Angelo Russell was an all-star in the Eastern Conference, albeit in the Eastern Conference, but he still was an all-star. He was one of the players to make it to the all-star team, and not very many players make it there every year. And this season, I'm pretty sure he averaged just about the same amount of points as he did his all-star season with the Nets, albeit he was on a worse team. I still think that D'Angelo Russell is way higher than 69th ranked player. And as we keep going through the list, I'll tell you some names of people I think that should be lower than 69. Then these players that I'm saying should be higher. And I don't know, I'm just really high on D'Angelo Russell personally. I really love watching him play, and I think he's going to have a great season with Karl-Anthony Towns this next season because, they're buddies and they love playing with each other. So I think being that he has been an All-Star 2 years ago and he didn't really drop off that much from the Nets to the Warriors and now on Minnesota, I think he's going to be a lot higher than 69. Next, we got OG Anunoby, Eric Bledsoe at 67, Serge Ibaka at 66, Blake Griffin at 65. Blake Griffin is such a good player. He's been an all-star for basically his whole career, and he's ranked 65. Last year, he was ranked 23rd, albeit this year he had some injuries, but you rank John Wall 81st when he hasn't played in 2 years, and you rank Blake Griffin 65 when he did play a little bit last year and just had a few injuries. I don't know. I just don't know what the ESPN's doing with this ranking. Blake Griffin is a 65 fifth best player in the league. Definitely not. He's been an all-star almost his whole career, and I could see him being an all-star this next season. From what I've heard, he's healthy and ready to go. So next we got Kevin Love at 64, TJ Bubble Warren at 63, who I think his bubble performance is just an aberration. I think he's going to prove to be way lower than actually what he is. I think people are going to figure him out, and they're going to be able to stop what little he was able to do in the bubble. Next, we got Bogdanovic, 62. Almost went to the Bucks, but he went to the Hawks. So we'll see how the Hawks do. The Hawks lineup is looking nice next season. I mean, they got Gallinari, Bogdanovic, John Collins, Trae Young, Clint Capella. Their lineup's looking kind of scary. Comment down below what you guys think the Hawks are going to do. Do you think the Hawks are going to make the playoffs, or do you think they're going to be out of the playoffs? Next, we got 61 David Bertans, who's just a three-point shooter, just like Seth Curry, who is ranked 91st in the list. I just don't understand the difference between David Bertans and Seth Curry. I mean, Seth Curry is one of the best three-point shooters in the league, but you have David Bertans, 61, who's also just a three-point shooter. I don't understand the list that much. Next, we got Robert Covington, 3-and-D player. I think he's going to be a good pickup for the Trailblazers. Then we got Tyler Hero, who I personally think this is ranked too high after his first season. I mean, he was getting backup minutes most this season to Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson, but he's ranked 59th. I know he had a great finals and a great playoff run. I mean, he was able to start a lot of the games in the playoffs, but I don't think personally Tyler Hero is a 59th ranked player. Don't get me wrong, I love watching Tyler Hero, and he reminds me a lot of players like Devin Booker. He's not Devin Booker. Don't write in the comments, oh, you thought he was Devin Booker. No, I'm not saying he's Devin Booker, but I think that people have ranked him too high too soon. I think he should be in the top 100. Yeah, I could see him being in the top 100. I just don't think he should be ranked 59 above players like D'Angelo Russell or John Collins. I don't know. I just think it's too early, too soon. Even Blake Griffin, I don't think he should be ranked higher than him. There's players that I personally don't think Tyler Hero should be ranked in front of yet, albeit very high on Tyler Hero. I like watching him play. Next, we got Goran Dragic, 58. Tobias Harris, 57. And then we come to Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine at 56, I think is very disrespectful. I mean, when you average 25.5 points per game in a season, you're able to get a bucket whenever you want. Literally whenever you want. You give him the ball, go get him a bucket. And you have him ranked 56th in the league. Yes, he is on the Bulls. That's not his fault. I mean, just because he's on the Bulls doesn't mean he's going to be this lowly 56th ranked player. I think he's going to have a breakout season. I mean, he's going to have the same season he had last season. He's going to have a lot of points, and he's going to be able to get a bucket just whenever you want. When you're a franchise player and you're ranked 56th, I think that's personally disrespectful. Next, we got Christian Wood at 55. And then we come to Lonzo Ball at 54. How are they ranking Lonzo Ball so high? Yes, I love watching Lonzo Ball. I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league just because of his passing ability. But 54 Lonzo Ball. 54. Think about that. He's better than players like D'Angelo Russell. He's better than Zach LaVine. He's better than Blake Griffin. Let's go back to the list. He's better than Mike Conley. Is Lonzo Ball better than Mike Conley? I don't know. I like Lonzo Ball, but I just think Lonzo Ball is ranked too high on this list personally. I think Lonzo Ball, yes, he's able to figure out how to shoot his three. He shot 40.9% from three last season, and I like Lonzo Ball. I just think Lonzo is ranked a little bit too high in my opinion. I think he should be ranked around high 70s, low 80s. I think that's where he should be ranked around. Next, we got Yusuf Nurkic, DeAndre Ayton, and Michael Porter Jr. to close it out, the first 100 to 50. I think also Michael Porter Jr. is ranked a little too high. I like watching Michael Porter Jr. play, and he was very, very good in the playoffs this last season. I just personally think he is ranked too high too soon. I think there's other players that have been more proven than him and should be ranked higher than him personally. But let me know what you think. Do you think where my predictions are right? Do you think what I have to say is correct? That's what I have to say on this 100 to 50 list. We're going to be going through the 100 to 1 over the next couple of days. But this is what I think about the rankings from 100 to 51. To close this video out, thank you so much for watching the channel. I appreciate every single one of you. I can't say it enough. If you can drop a like on this video, it really helps this video get on the recommended page. That would help immensely. And drop a subscription if you want to see part 2 of this video. We'll be dropping out part 2 later on this week, and then part 3 as well with the top 10. We might do part 2 and 3 together. I don't know exactly yet, depending on how long part 2 is. But thank you so much for watching the video, and I'm Hoop Rat. Till the next upload.